Good morning. My name is Mark Brunton. I'm the Operations Section Chief for the Park Incident. I'm going to do your daily briefing for August 3rd. We'll talk about what has occurred in the past 24 hours, our plans moving into the next operational period, some challenges that we're facing, and some really good successes that we've had so far throughout the past week and into this operational period. So start in our lower part of the fire on the left flank, the western part of the fire, work our way around. No real status change from all along the area that we've been talking throughout most of the fire. Primary line in, mopped up well interior, it's looking really good, and we're going to be starting suppression repair activities there starting today. So that's really good. The suppression repair activities is where we go in after the fact and take any of the dozer line, anything that was damaged by the fire, and just repair it and put it back into a more natural state, and also prepare it for the winter season so that when there is a rain and runoff that it is not cause any damage to the environment or waterways. Working our way back up around into the Taha County zone of the fire on that left flank. A lot of really good progress. As we get up to the upper shoulder, some of those areas that have been very challenging for us due to the topography are continuing to be a challenge. Mainly the Antelope Creek area is continuing to be a bit of a challenge. So Antelope Creek to Little Antelope Creek is where we've been having challenges, basically because the heat in there of all the down fuels, the topography. So crews are in there diligently mopping up. It's just a lot of work. But that is something we need to have buttoned up and completely extinguished so that as we get the warmer, hotter, drier days, some wind, that we don't have anything blow out of there ember-wise and cause any additional spot fires for us. Highway 36 corridor looking really good, continued heavy mop up in there, and that's getting fully buttoned up. So we're very happy with the progress in that area. As we move around to the right side of the fire, then we start looking at some of our challenging areas. So what we note is our branch 15 area and branch 18 areas. Those are some very challenging parts of the fire for us. So I'll talk a little bit about that and address that. We do have line finally direct on branch 15 all the way down, attaching to the rim of Mill Creek. Mill Creek drainage has been and will continue to be our challenge moving forward. Very large, steep drainage. I wouldn't look at it or think of it as a small creek. It is a very wide gorge more than anything else. Within that, very steep. A lot of it's rocky, heavy fuel loading. I mean, it's the whole gamut all in one. So very hazardous, dangerous country to work in just normally, let alone the fact that we have fire established below that. So not only the topography being a hazard for firefighters, but the fact that there is fire there that is not easy to attack and is one of those things that as firefighters we are very cognizant of before we attack any of those kind of fires. We have to really evaluate that and put together a very solid plan before we just put firefighters down into that very steep drainage. So that is one of those things we're evaluating, whether we're going to look at that as an option or if we're going to go with the secondary plan, which is now that we've on the branch 15 side made our way to that rim, is to parallel that rim with our control line, which we've already been doing as a contingency. We'll continue that and evaluate if it's better than to attack the fire from the edge of it versus putting anything down into that drainage. So that's being evaluated as we speak, and will continue to be so for throughout the day as we are putting together plans, and we do have a strategic plan in place on how we're going to look at that and some options. Again, the heavier fuels within that area and topography is very challenging, but the fact that we were able to get direct and get to the point where we brought the line all the way down to the rim is tremendous. That has been one of our hard challenges of the past few days, and we had a lot of success getting to that benchmark yesterday. As we continue down, now we go into our branch 18, which is the neighboring branch to 15, so the other side essentially of that drainage. They're bringing line all the way up as 15 has come down to the edge of the lip of the drainage. The same is happening on the opposite side, so they're finalizing that part of it, and there's already been contingency line being worked parallel to Mill Creek drainage on that side of the drainage. So again, that puts us in alignment with our plans between the two branches, and those two branches are formalizing plans today on how we're going to go about taking care and pinching off this last really big portion of the fire that is our big challenge. So that's very encouraging. The fact that a week ago from where we were to where we are today, tremendous difference. A week ago we had this fire really blasting through here, just trying to figure out how to get ahead of it and to keep people out of harm's way. And so we've been at a point for the past week where crews have been very diligent, working hard and aggressively to put direct lines in, and it's paying off. So we're at that kind of last part of the fire that we really having to concentrate on and giving us, but it is going to be a challenge moving forward. But we do have plans in play to take care of that. Continuing to move down the right flank of the fire to finish that up. The communities of Cohasset and Forest Ranch have been repopulated for a number of days. We have crews in there continuing to mop up. Lots of calls for service with folks back in there and seeing smokes, and we're mitigating that and any other hazards that exist. So that is a continuing, ongoing effort, but that is going rather well. And then as we hit to the heel of fire, again, very good mop up, very little few smokes and so forth. So that's getting to the point where it's getting very buttoned up, and we'll be doing suppression repair within those areas as well. Our contingency lines in the Shasta zone, they've been continuing to put line in there for the contingency. They're basically now moving on from the A line to Highway 89. And basically what that'll help do is box out Lassen National Park, Lassen Volcanic National Park. So that will box that out and take that out of play from the fire if it were to spread in that direction and keep it out of the park. So it's something that using some old lines from the Dixie fire that we utilized in the past, and they're working on that. So that's a really good option for us to seal that off and keep that out of play. The Taha Contingency is continuing work. It's a huge project due to the fuels and some of the topography, but we have a lot of equipment up there, a really good plan, and we're connecting the dots from the various contingency plans. We also expand that contingency to create a mineral contingency group, and that really is concentrating on putting secondary and tertiary lines to protect the community of mineral that isn't threatened at this point in time. However, if the fire were to build up again, then it gives us a really good point in which to protect the community. So we've expanded that, and that's looking really good. As we're going down with the Butte contingency, all the line lower down is finished, and they've been working for the past few days, working along the rim of Mill Creek drainage to give us a foothold there. And that work is continuing, and then back around the top of the drainage, and then finding a way to connect with the contingency lines of the Taha contingency branch. So all the pieces are starting to come together, and we're buttoning that up to really seal off any potential spread of the fire. Air asset wise, we're still sitting at over 40 rotor wing helicopters. That has not changed. A lot of those are not only the CAL FIRE ships and the call when needed contractors, but we have a large contingent from the Air Guard and the National Guard to assist us with our air program and utilizing those resources. Due to the past few days of weather with the smoky conditions, we have not been able to fly continuous missions. However, as the air does clear and open up, and with that comes increased fire activity, we are able to support our troops on the ground with the rotor aircraft. Also, our fixed-wing aircraft that we have assigned, we haven't been able to fly due to the smoke conditions. However, they are ready to go, that when we can fly them, we will, and we have plans to utilize their retardant dropping capabilities to support and strengthen our control lines and direct lines that we have in place. As far as resources, we still have close to 6,000 personnel assigned to the incident. We have also additional resources I've mentioned before from out of state, and we've been utilizing the resources from Texas and Utah to assist us. We also have additional resources from Nevada and North Dakota and Arizona that are assisting us on this incident. Today we will be receiving the first of the National Guard, what we call Force Pack, and it's basically trained hand crews to assist us on the fire. So we'll be getting those first personnel, about 100 personnel, in that first package that will be in brief today and will be actually placed on the line tomorrow. That'll support us tremendously, especially in a lot of the mop-up areas where we can move our Type 1 crews into some more of the more complex areas of firefighting. We will be receiving additional force packs. The next one will be coming in early next week and going to the Tehama zone, and that will be supporting them. So as they move into more of the mop-up phase, those will be employed there, and again, moving our Type 1 crews into more of the work suited for them in the more difficult and dangerous terrain, especially the Mill Creek drainage that we are focusing on. So far, we've had a lot of really good work done, very hard, aggressive work in 1 week. The troops are to be commended. Their line leadership is to be commended. Working with all of our cooperators, not only in the fire service, federal, state, and local, but also our law enforcement partners in not only the early evacuations, but the repopulation efforts, and making sure that the civilians that have been affected by this are taken care of. And then moving into more of the recovery efforts, we'll be seeing from OES some of their specialized teams to deal with some of the hazardous materials elements that from the structures that were destroyed. So that part of the incident is starting to come about, and like I mentioned, the fire suppression repair of the incident. So we're not completely out of the woods yet, but we're looking very, very good, and this is moving at a very fast pace that we are very happy with, and considering where we were a week ago, very, very far down the road in completing this mission and putting a sense of normalcy back to both counties.